She's got long legs and short shorts, but she ain't got no teeth. She wears a red bandana on her head and she smiles so sweet. She'll steal your heart, a very first sight should rip apart your soul. She'll torture your mind and waste your time and drag you down the road, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel, 'cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel.
Well, hey, y'all. You're listening to the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast. My name is Ashley Feller. I'm a third-generation Panama City native, and I'm also a singer-songwriter. I'm celebrating today because today marks the 45th episode of the St. Andrews Jezebel Podcast, and it's 1-year anniversary. 1 year ago, I decided to take the plunge and get into podcasting because it was a medium that I've always admired and something that I wanted to be a part of. I want to thank everybody for all your love and support and everyone who's helped me along the way, offered words of comfort, words of advice, and I'd especially like to thank all my guests that I've had throughout the year. Y'all are so awesome for coming on the show and being authentic and telling your stories. Thank y'all so much. So for this week, I'll be covering local events in St. Andrews for September the 23rd through September the 29th. Before I get into that, let me first tell you about the birthday fundraiser. My birthday's on Friday, and I am doing a Facebook birthday fundraiser for the Salty Cats of St. Andrews, and I will link the donation page down in the comments. The Salty Cats of St. Andrews, if you look back through the episodes, I did do an interview with Jackie. It's one of my most favorite ones. The Salty Cats of St. Andrews Rescue does a lot of wonderful things for the cat community. They take care of all the colonies in St. Andrews. They get them medical attention. They feed them. They help them find homes. They're just wonderful. Thank you, Jackie, for everything you do. So, folks, even if it's just $1, anything you can donate to the Salty Cats of St. Andrews, they will be most grateful for, and I will be most grateful for, because without the Salty Cats of St. Andrews, I wouldn't have my 2 babies, Andy and Kensington. In fact, Andy, if you hear any racket, is scratching under the door right now where I'm recording. Little stinker. For our old news segment this week, I'm going to read the first old news segment that I read 1 year ago on the podcast, and it's called Wake Up. I think you'll enjoy it. It doesn't line up with the history of this week, but I figured with it being the 1-year anniversary of the podcast that it was fitting. Before I start the community events, thank you all for tuning in. Grab your favorite snacks, get you a beer. If you're hot, turn on the fan, and get ready to enjoy the show. We've got a lot of community events to get through. Let's start with tonight, Thursday, September 23rd at 5 p.m. at 1134 Beck Avenue, which is the Panama City Publishing Museum. There is the Museum Committee's monthly meeting. This is a new group of volunteers, so if you're looking for a rewarding way to invest your volunteer time, the brand new Museum Committee is open to anyone who's interested. You just won't believe the choice of projects and how to spend some of your valuable time shaping the publishing museum for the future and providing visitors of all ages with a quality experience. The committee will meet the 4th Thursday each month, but projects and tasks are available every week, Tuesday through Friday, 1 to 5:30, and Saturdays from 9 to 1. Printing, organizing, curating, and also assisting with children's field trips are just some of the volunteer tasks to be involved with. There's still time to see the current wall exhibit at the Panama City Publishing Museum. The name of the exhibit is George and Hawk, An Extraordinary Friendship. The exhibit displays diary entries, letters, and photos written by Mr. George West, and these document his friendship with Hawk Massalina. You only have until the end of the month to see this amazing exhibit. Last week, the Printing Museum printer shadowed Mr. Buddy West as he printed covers for Lillian's 1930s publication, and that's called Gems Gleamed, a collection of George West writings, and the books are currently available at the Publishing Museum for $10. One of my most favorite local artists, Heather Clements, you've probably seen her artwork on the Welcome Wall in downtown Panama City, is having an art show at the Taproom this Friday night, starting at 5 p.m. Come have a drink and enjoy Heather's newest series of art. She'll have originals and prints available. You know, the holiday season's coming soon. Why not buy some of Heather's art to decorate your house with? It's absolutely lovely, and I think you'll love it. On Friday, if you like classic rock, then the Kindred Spirits will be at the House of Bourbon starting at 8 p.m. If blues is more your thing, then you're in luck because my friend Matt Law is playing for you this Friday night at Little Village from 6 to 9. Moving on to Saturday, the market at St. Andrews starts at 8 a.m. and it goes till 1 p.m. and it's at the Smith Yacht Basin. They've got vendors, they've got lots of arts and crafts, they've got food trucks, it's right there on St. Andrews Bay, and they've also got music. One of my most favorite bands ever, the Wabi Sabis, are performing for you at the market at St. Andrews at 10 o'clock this Saturday. Sunday is a great day to go have brunch, check out some live music at either the Taproom or Little Village or Uncle Ernie's in the evening, and I think Alice's also has live music. But St. Andrews is also a great place to take in the sights. The Marina Pavilion has some lovely swings and picnic tables, and there's always Oaks by the Bay, which has the old Sentry, and there's a pavilion there. You can walk down to the water. There's a board that will take you all the way down to the bay. I've seen some of the most lovely sunsets of my life right in that park. Or if you find yourself wanting to take a leisurely bike stroll, check out some of the great historical homes in Waretown. The name Waretown came about when Lambert Ware visited the area in 1877 and then returned in 1879. His brother Francis joined him in 1882, and they operated Ware Mercantile and Ware's Wharf on the present harbor village and where St. Andrews Marina currently sits. I'd like to read off a list of historical homes in St. Andrews that you might want to check out. These homes aren't open to the public, but you can stroll by or you can ride your bike and you could still appreciate the architecture. First, there's the Thompson House, 2622 West 9th, circa 1930. The Hutchison House, 2623 West 9th, circa 1930. Hannah House, 2620 West 9th, and it was built around 1860. Captain Ottaway Warehouse, 2504 West 9th Street, circa 1910. Haight and Zedeker House, 2500 West 9th, circa 1904. The Day Home, 1001 Calhoun Avenue, circa 1909. Aunt Maud and Uncle Bruno's, 2204 West 9th, circa 1920s. Are you looking for something to do on your Monday night? Every Monday night is Little Fest hosted by Kirk Lancaster. The music starts at 6 and the beers will be flowing. Bring your friends and come support live music on a Monday at the Taproom. Or maybe you like to dance. So on Tuesday, there's line dancing with Janine at the House of Bourbon, and they start at 7. And then on Wednesdays, if you're in the need of a laugh, there is a comedy open mic brought to you by Panama City Comedy, and it starts at 8 p.m., and I think their sign-up is at 7:30. Don't forget to check out the new Art in Public Spaces display brought to you by the Floriopolis Artists and Volunteers. This is the last week to view the Boats and Water theme. The next theme is Sunsets. And the art exhibit is located right across from the old captain's table. The current exhibit features artists such as Kelly Dyer, Silas Dyer, Annie Mae, Jim Hayton, J.A. Robinson, Krista Eggleston, and more. The display is sponsored by Monia Lobo, Sissy Hunt, Crystal Ford, and Bobby Beard. Thank you for all your support. Floriopolis is open to the public every Wednesday from noon to 5, so you can become a Floriopolis volunteer and come spend an afternoon creating a work of art for the next fence exhibit. This is free to the public, and all supplies are provided. At the end of the exhibit, the artwork is recycled and the canvases are reprimed for next time. Well, that's all the community events I have for this week. Tune in next week for more. One of the best things about St. Andrews is that you can see live music every day. That's right. There is live music being played somewhere in St. Andrews 7 nights a week. Fortunately, my friend Ken Schaefer creates and publishes a weekly schedule for St. Andrews as well as most of Bay County. Ken's spreadsheet schedule is updated often when there's any changes. Ken also shares individual music events and is walking the walk and talking the talk when it comes to supporting live music. Not only does Ken supply the music schedules, but he attends several music performances a week and takes fantastic photos of the musicians. As a working musician myself, I feel blessed to have Ken and his wife Donna as treasured members of our local musical family. Make sure you like and follow Ken's page, Salty Sounds in St. Andrews, and Oh Boy Music on Facebook, so that you'll always know where all the live music will happen. Thank you so much, Ken, for everything you do. I'd like to do something a little different for this week's old news segment. I'm not going to read what happened this week in history from the St. Andrews Bay News. I'd like to read a column that was in the St. Andrews Bay News. This is called Wake Up, and I believe it was published in 1923. This is the very first piece of old news that I read on the St. Andrews Jezebel podcast, and I think I'd like to start a tradition of reading this on every year anniversary. Hope you enjoy this. Wake up. There's anything new in this town. How often have you heard that remark? We had it hurled at us a couple of days ago. And why is there nothing new? Simply because everybody waits for somebody else to start something. We're all ready to talk if the other fellow will do, but too few of us are willing to take the initiative and start something. What made New York and Chicago and Philadelphia and all the other great cities of the country? Was it their natural advantages alone, or the people who wait for others, or did they just happen? It was neither of these. It was the ability and the initiative of their do-something citizens. There is no place in those burgs for the fellow who waits. We can do the same here if we want to. Not on as large or gigantic scale, of course, but still we can improve our condition. 1,000% if we will only resolve to do things and then do them. There are just as many brains in this town in proportion to the population as there are in New York, Chicago, or Philadelphia. But they are like a sleeping volcano, while the city man's brains are constantly in eruption. It is time to wake up, to come out of our trance. It is time to do something. And we address this statement particularly to the friend who accosted us a couple days ago. We suggest that you do something, because we know that you have the ability to do, and we see your brain working. To a purpose others will sit up and start this co-moving too. If you, reader, have ever made such a complaint of this town, we are talking to you too. Shake the cobwebs from your own brains, and in time, you will find others keeping the pace right by your side. Do something yourself, and then you will never have an occasion to say to others that there is never anything new in this town. A sleeping volcano never makes much smoke. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to episode 45 of the St. Andrews Jezebel podcast. I'm still in disbelief that it's been a year and that I've managed to stick with it all this time. But you know what? I really love it. I love meeting all the new people that are my guests. I love helping tell their story. And I love meeting all the listeners. And I really appreciate all the support. Thank you. Next week, we've got local musician Matt Siegel, so y'all don't miss that. And also, don't forget about my fundraiser for the Salty Cats of St. Andrews. The St. Andrews Jezebel podcast is now available to stream right on Facebook. So to those of you who are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you so much for following. That really means a lot. It really helps the podcast grow. But for those who maybe don't want to leave Facebook to listen, you don't have to. So I encourage you that if you're getting any value out of this, please share the podcast with all your salty friends. Our theme song was written by me and recorded by Dave Schwartz on the campus of Gulf Coast State College. I wrote the episode at my kitchen table and recorded the rest in my music room. Till next time, keep St. Andrews salty.
Red lipstick, so thick, and a push-up bra. Tramp stamp, stretch marks, and a lacy thong. 'Cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew Jezebel. 'Cause she's a Jezebel, St. Andrew.